Hello and welcome to Let Us Farm. My name is Emily from Noel Oge of Let Us Farm. So today we shall be talking about why is it that self-made feed is cheaper than company-made feed. So this is what we'll be talking about today, and I would be able to explain to you every detail you must know about this and then tell you comparison of which and which is better. So make sure you sit back to relax and watch this video to the end to understand it and ask me any questions you have at the end of the video. Now, if you're having any problem whatsoever in your farm, all you need to do is do a video of this your catfish that is giving you problem and send this video to 081 353 48909. When I look at this video, I will be able to provide you with a free solution to solving your problem. I'll be right back to discuss this. Welcome back. So like I said, why is self-made feed cheaper than company processed feed? Now when I say company here, I mean Nigerian company processed feed and then foreign processed feed. So why is it that the one you do yourself is cheaper, and which of these could be better for you to achieving greater results in this present situation of everything on the high price? So this is what we'll be discussing now. Like I said, watch this video to the end, so because we discuss everything that we may be talking about. Don't watch half and then start throwing questions. So first of all, do you understand what is fish feed? Now, fish feed is a composition of every particular ingredient from different food sources that a catfish needs to grow very fast, give you good growth and good body weight. This is fish feed. This is what composes of that thing you call fish feed. But now you find out that the fish feed that you do yourself is going to be cheaper than the one companies do. So why do we now waste money buying the one companies do? You understand? Instead of doing exactly the one that we do, which is cheaper. So why? So first of all, because I have said that fish feed is a composition of different ingredients that catfish need to grow fast and have good weight. So what happens is this: because of the current economic situation, there are some certain components of that thing that fishes need for them to grow fast and have good weight that are also exceptionally very high. Example of them is maize. Now, maize, the raw maize you see, it's dry. When it's dry is when they use it for making fish feed. So the dry one is blended into fish feed because it contributes to the energy that your catfish need. Your catfish need energy. That is what makes your catfish to be able to carry the body weight and move up and down. So they need energy to be able to move, to carry their body weight. So we use the energy from maize as what the ingredients to give the catfishes the energy requirement they need. Now, initially, maize was sold at before there was a time they were selling maize, I think $20 for 1 kg. The price started going up. Now it's about 300 and something for a kilo of maize, depending on how many you are buying. No, so now, if you as an individual is buying this at that price, by the time you compute your feed, it's going to be expensive. So what people do to bring this feed cost down is, instead of using, because every feed has percentage of this ingredient that makes up the bag of feed that you buy. So let's say, for example, your maize is supposed to be 30% of the whole ingredient you are using. So the whole ingredient you are using is 100%, but the maize itself that will give the energy, example, is 30%. Because the price is not much, so what you as an individual will do is you reduce it from 30% to maybe 10%. Now you now go and get what you call wheat offer. Wheat offal is a chaff gotten from the brewers. If you are staying in Osun State, if you go to Elisha Breweries, you will see it. In Anambra State, if you go to 33, you will see it. So that thing is the chaff they get from the brewery waste. That's what we call wheat offal. So they dry it. But the problem is that the wheat offal doesn't give energy. Like I said, it's a chaff. It's just like eating it for sustenance, but it won't give you energy. It doesn't have energy. So even if there is any energy, it's less than 0.1 energy, which means it has no energy. So you reduce the maize to like around 10% and add the wheat offal so that the feed quantity will still meet up to that same 100% of feed kg. So if you understand what I have said now, you have reduced the energy level, which is maize, and added the wheat offal, which is cheap. You understand? Wheat offal is way cheaper than maize. Wheat offal is 60% cheaper than maize. So when you add it, it brings down the cost. But the problem is the value, what the catfish is supposed to gain from the maize, it cannot gain it from the wheat offal. I don't know if you understand this. It simply means that because you want to reduce cost, so you use wheat offal to replace the maize, the energy, that thing that's supposed to make the catfish to have strength, you're supposed to get from the maize, the fish cannot get it from the wheat offal because the wheat offal doesn't contain that component that will make it to have energy. But it is cheaper and you want the quantity of the feed to still be okay, so you reduce it. So that's why some of the catfishes will not have that strength. Now, if the protein is small and you don't have that binding strength, you start having skull breaking and all these things. Because you see, you have tweaked this. So you did not correspond it to the protein that will enter. You have broken skull. If it doesn't have broken skull, your fishes will be sluggish, will be slow. They won't have that boost. They won't have that energy. You see, you go to your pond, they are doing like so, but they don't come up. They don't eat because you have reduced that thing. So that thing that they are supposed to get, they will not get it. But then the feed cost is not cheap, but the ingredient will not be there. So the catfish cannot grow to that level that you want. Same thing is applicable to protein. Protein makes the catfish to grow faster. And now you have to replace again your protein content with another thing just to make sure that the catfish is eating. Sometimes you replace your protein content with PKC. PKC is what you give to pigs. You replace it with the protein content. And your protein content sometimes comes as what you call GNC. So you replace it and then give the fish feed more of PKC. So unfortunately, because you have done that, now the fish definitely they will eat. But the problem is they won't be able to get to that level. Now, what some people used to do is after replacing it, they will now go and get small crayfish and put, forgetting that the quantity of crayfish you put cannot still block for the quantity of GNC that you have removed. If it covers the quantity of GNC that you've removed, it will increase the feed cost because crayfish is more expensive. So this thing now I'm telling you is the technicalities that people who do their individual feed do. So what they do is to sit down and look at this ingredient. Okay, let me substitute the protein with the PKC. Let me substitute the carbohydrate, the energy with the wheat offal. Good and fine. As you do all this substitution, the problem is that the ingredient, the nutritional value that's supposed to come from this would not come. Therefore, the fish will be eating it, but they won't get that value. And when they don't get the value, they will not grow to that one, like that one that the company does. So this is why your own food that you produce is way cheaper, but in the result, it is not like that. Now you may say, okay, but some of the fishes that eat it grow. Yes. What now happens here is that you increase your methionine. Methionine is the yeast component. It's just like what makes your bread to blow big is the yeast. So methionine serves as the yeast component in the feed. Now you have shortened all the ingredients, you put the methionine, so definitely your catfishes will now blow because they are eating the methionine. But this is where the problem is. So when they are now big, they will lack in protein and they will lack in energy. So when you can lift up the catfish, it has no energy, it has no weight, and what you are going to sell on your catfish is the energy, because you are selling the weight. You are not selling the physical flesh, it's the weight. So when your customers touch it, there's no weight. They don't want to buy because they know that you have done some magic. So some customers, they come to your farm, they look at the fish, they say, this fish is supposed to weigh 2 kg. They put it on scale. The fish is weighing 500 grams. They say they don't want to buy. You start wondering why don't they want to buy? Because they have known what you did. But you may not see it. But let me tell you why they know. Now, they know because the weight doesn't correspond. Now, apart from that, if it doesn't pay, they can decide to, okay, buy it and go. But now, the problem is, when they buy it and sell it to people, when you sell it to, let's say you sell it to restaurant owners, people that do grills and all these things, when they buy the fish and kill the fish, if you put it on fire, a fish that is big like this, once it gets into any hot situation, it shrinks. Because the methionine is not flesh, it's not energy, it's just like a blown up balloon. So when it enters fire, it shrinks. And when it shrinks, those people lose money. So they will not want to buy it. So this is the reason why when you do your own feed, you see your fishes, some of them look big, but in reality, they are not worth that size. Your buyers will tell you when they want to buy. When they feel the weight and look at the fish, they tell you that it's like something is wrong with this thing. And when they go to sell it, they have problem. And next time, they will not want to come back to you. So you lose either ways. Because imagine a fish that you're looking at that's supposed to give you 2 kg, giving you 500 grams. Automatically, you've lost money because the time you use in achieving that is already a waste. That is the reason why I say buy a company produced feed. But then you may ask yourself, what if I do it in the normal way? Won't my price be cheaper? Your price will not be cheaper. Now you'll be thinking, say, oh, the companies have workers they pay. So because they pay those workers and they use big generators and all these things, so their price is supposed to be expensive. But this is where another twist happens. So what happens here is that these companies, some of you don't know, but most farmers in the north, even in the southwest, have opportunity of meeting big people, companies that use these things to produce the feed. When they meet these companies, what these companies do is that these companies have access to collateral to collect loans from bank. Companies can go to bank, take billions. Then you as a farmer, you don't have collateral, because some farmers in the north, they don't have. All they have is just their immediate family. You know how the north operates. Then in the southwest, most of them in the southwest may not have a possible collateral to deposit. And even those that have, they will tell you no, that they don't know if this yield will be okay or not. So they don't want to take that chances. But these companies are willing to take the risk. So they use their companies and their investment to collect these big loans. Then they now come to you as a farmer because you don't have collateral, and those that have are not willing to take the risk. So they now tell you that, okay, this is the current price of this in the market. Let's say they tell you that now maize in the market is sold for $300 per kg. But what they are going to buy from you by next year, because they will give you money to farm this year. If you farm this year, you dry the maize, it's next year they will pick it up. Because it's dry maize they do. So the dry maize stays more than 120 days in the farm so that they can dry and they pick it up. So they will tell you that 300, but by next year that they will pick it at the rate of 220. So if you want to complain, they will tell you that they have to transport it from the north to their warehouse, which is going to take money. So you as a farmer, you now look at it that, okay, since they are giving me volume, okay, if I do this transaction to them, On the volume, I will make money, even if it's one naira on kg. You now multiply by tons that you will sell, you will be okay with it. Then anything that remains from that, you sell it to people like us who cannot buy exactly what these companies will buy. So you see, the company has brought down their own price to 220, and you, as at this year, is 300. By next year, it could go to 350 or 400, but the company's price still remained at 220 because an MOU is signed before the loan was disbursed. Same thing with anything they are importing for the feed. They import it in large quantity and get a good discount. But you can't buy the volume they are buying. So you are stuck with what you have. So when they are producing at a very cheap cost. So even with their labor costs, they come out and still be better in pricing than you. But when you add all the costs that you used and your labor costs, you are still very high. You now start wondering, what is going on? But this is exactly what's going on. So if you've listened to everything I've said now, and you still believe that there are some certain things that are hidden, probably I didn't tell you, let me see that in the comment section. But if you understood anything I said now, let's see it in the comment section. And if you have anything you want me to come and discuss, let's see that in the comment section. And until I come your way next time, I remain yours, not Oge of Let Us Farm. Keep farming. It's a way of life.